after you bought your first couple of duplexes, was your first one like a 12 unit? Did you say or something?
It was a 16 unit,
16
and then
units,
there was another
Yeah.
another 16 unit right next to it. So bought that one, and then there was a 35 unit right down the street, and then the owner of that one also owned a 120 unit down the block from that. So just kind of gradually
Did you
phased
use
up.
by the block
Yes.
on that one?
Yep, and it was all off market, and that's my favorite strategy. It's basically my only strategy, actually. The only one that works consistently. But so now too, it's like with part of that strategy is I'm just waiting on some properties. Like I know I'm going to get a good look to buy them whenever that time comes around, but they're on a timeline. Like they're doing their own thing here for a little while, and eventually like they'll come calling, right? Like when we bought the 120, we also got a first right of refusal on his 60 unit next door to that. So like just getting creative with those things too, and staying patient. Like, for when I was first starting out, I set these like milestones I wanted to hit, right? Like in a certain amount of time, buy this many units or whatever. I don't do that anymore because the market's so fluid. There are times where sometimes it maybe doesn't make sense to buy, or maybe there's just not as many opportunities to that come my way. Whereas now, the way I kind of view this is, if I can do 3 or 4 good multifamily deals a year, like I'll be just fine. Like I'm not worried about, buying $1 billion worth of property or like doing that thing. Like all that stuff will take care of itself. I just want to do a couple good deals a year, and that's fine with me. So.
Well, I think, and the reason I asked the question is, sometimes we'll get people that, say, hey, it's going to be my first property, and I want to look at, 50 units and up, and I'm like, well, what's wrong with this good 20 unit right here, right?
Yeah.
They're like, well, that's not quite big enough, and I'm like, yeah, it's plenty big for you. And you're just starting here, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, you need to have the first one so you can learn all the lessons that first property is going to teach you.
Yep.
Right, Mike?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so, you're going to, I said, and then after that, you'll have the experience and all that stuff. Then maybe you can move up, but there's nothing wrong with buying that 16 unit one to learn all the lessons.
Yeah, I agree with.
So don't listen to Grant Cardone? is what
Yeah,
you're saying?
no.
Something
Uncle
else
G,
something else I hear a lot too is like if you find a good deal, the money will come, like the money will follow. I think that I strongly disagree with that as well. Like the money will only come, the investors only come if you have a relationship with them. Like especially if you're first starting out, what I found was that my investors, they would say like they're investing in me. Like the deal is the deal. Like they don't really, most of them don't even know real estate that well, right? So it's like not like they can go vet a deal that well. They're putting their money into me. So if you don't have that relationship, the money is not going to just show up in the bank account, I promise.
But don't post on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes. And don't.
Yeah.
What's your exit strategy on them?
Yeah, so-
short term, long term, what?
Yeah, so most of what we do is a
He's
long term.
24. Come on. What do you mean? So it's his exit strategy.
Buy, add value, refi, and then hold. When dealing with investors, you have to have like some type of relative predetermined exit date.
Yeah.
I'm usually in the 7 to 10 year range. Just because I don't want to be maybe forced into making a decision in 3 or 4 years. But that might be something that maybe, again, it could change over time. Right now, most banks only lock you in for 5 years anyway, so you kind of forces your hand a little bit. But I like to hold on to stuff as much as possible. Like of the 100, so 12 of the units are units that like I don't have investors in. So like those will just, hold on to them until someone makes, an offer I can't refuse, right? But when you've got dealing with investors, there's usually some type of plan that you got to come up with.
That's what I was talking about, Brian.
Okay.
What are the
all right.
investors calling?
There you go. Okay. All right.
Yeah, anywhere
Thank
from
you.
5
Not how
to
long
5 to
it's
10.
gonna take.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought you were talking my age or something. Anyway, so,
When you
Well-
look like Brian.
yeah. Still young though. Yeah. So, I appreciate Jake joining us tonight. Does Mom have the does Jana have the cookies, or do you have? Oh, there you go. Okay,
See,
thank you.
and I thought I was starting young in the real estate business, but
Yeah.
he started when he was 19, so I'm like, man, I'm slow.
Yeah. So, all right. So, as everybody knows, we always like to thank everybody for coming, presenting, speaking, and we give you.
Awesome.
There's a dozen tips cookies in there. So I hope everybody gained that. Hey, you don't have to be you don't have to be my age to start. You can actually be young like like Jake, and